What's up, YouTube? The homie Big D back in the building with a whole other episode, baby. Hey, before I start, man, you know what I need you to do, man. Hit that like button, subscribe, share, comment, all the things to help build the algorithm of the channel, man. It's not going to cost you one Japanese yen. Hey, man, let's get to it, man. We in Frank Scott with this one, bro. So, you always heard that saying, control what you can control. See, this the thing is about prison. You know, on the street, you can kind of control your movement, control who you deal with, control who you be around, control who you live with, where you, those type of circumstances you have control over. In prison, the only thing you can probably control is your reaction to certain situations. But you most definitely cannot control each and every individual that you be around. And sometimes they bullshit end up coming over to where you're at. And this is one of those stories. This is a story about the worst Bunkmate that I ever had. So let's get to it. So after I had gotten to it with the Green Mile, if you're not familiar with the channel, you'll have to go back and search my videos, and you can find in the Frank Scott Chronicles about the Green Mile. Me and this big old overgrown human being got to fight, and I ended up going to the hole, but they didn't write me a court sheet for the fight for whatever reason. And when I came out the hole, I got moved from Holland Building, and they moved me to Ingram Building, which is on the other side of the camp. And they ended up putting me in Ingram Sea Hall on the bunk. I was on the top bunk in their TV room. And I need to explain that part of it, how this set up was. So they had like bunks in the same area as the TV rooms, and they were 2-man bunks. In the beginning, when you first come in the dorm, they had like the 1-man bunks. Then they had like another little side, like a little turn, where they had 2-man bunks, 2-man rooms. And then on the back side of the dormitory, they had the 1-man bunks. But TV room was the worst place that you could be at because it's right there with the sport TV at. And if you're not familiar, well, I'm going to explain to you about prison. A lot of the time, if you have 2 TVs in a dormitory, one of them going to be designated for the movies only, like TV shows and stuff like that people want to watch. Then you have like a sport TV. That is usually how it goes. That's a convict rule to keep stuff down for those who want to watch sports and only watch TV for sports. That's what that's for. For those who want to watch movies and other shows, they have like another TV for that. Well, the sports TV sits on the outside of it, and they got like some concrete barriers that you can sit down on to watch the sport TV. You know, on the back side of that sport TV is like another little room. It's a small room that had like concrete barriers that you could watch movies with. In the dormitory, and on the outside around the TV room where I slept at, it was like 2 bunks, then my bunk when you first come into the TV room, and it goes in like a U all the way back around. So I'm gonna explain that to you. So here's the thing: when they put me in there with this, I'm gonna call him ATL Ball. You know what I mean? He was a little fat, about 5'10" round ball of a human being. And instant, by his demeanor alone, I didn't like him. And a lot of time when you say you don't like people, you have to build up some type of dislike for them. But you can tell when somebody moved funny, man. I give him this, though. He was a hustler. Because when I first came to the dormitory, he had absolutely nothing to his name. He got somebody to get him a bag of cigarettes. Train. That's what we call them, night train cigarettes. This is before they took the cigarettes out the system. What he would do, you would break down bombs, because he didn't smoke. He break down bombs and he would sell them. You know what I mean? To those people who had commissary, but didn't necessarily go to the store to get cigarettes, he would sell them to them. And he came up out that, man. He started with that, ended up got done flipping that, running the store. I'm talking about I seen him do this and within a month time. I respect anybody who got a hustle. But what I didn't like about him, you're like, D, man, you got to respect the hustle. What I didn't like about him, man, he moved funny. And when I say move funny, I mean funny. So here's the thing with me. And that type of thing going on in prison. Because it happened. I don't care what prison you go to. You have those who have an alternative lifestyle. And those people who got done tend to got done move toward that alternative lifestyle. Which is fine. I know what I mean. Each his own. But see, when I'm not involved in it, and meaning I don't have no love, no type of, I ain't gonna say the right words for it. Well, I don't want to be involved in that type of lifestyle. I don't want to be around it. I don't want to see it happening. I don't want it to be in my vicinity. You know, whatever going on is going on, but I don't want to be around. You know what I mean? That's just my own personal preference. No disrespect for anybody who is living that way. That's just Big D philosophy on that type of thing, man. If a man is for woman, woman is for man. How I see it. But that's just my mindset on the whole situation. And he moved funny. So the first time that I noticed that he moved funny, it didn't take long. It was probably about my second or third weekend. Now, mind you, he was on his run at this time. He's trying to run up some stuff. So you know, on that type of time, you know, he didn't have a lot. But you had this dude in him, and his name was Peaches. I didn't call him that. I called him by his name, which I can't seem to recall what his name was. If I did, I wouldn't call it. But I called him by his name. Now, he was an openly rainbow coalition cat. You know what I mean? Eyeliner, tight pants, talk like a female, try to act like one, all the whole nine. So it wasn't no hiding. It was right out in the open. And another thing is about him, he didn't have a hustle, meaning that his hustle was his body parts. You know what I mean? He would sell himself to people who is willing to pay him for these favors that he's willing to do for these people. I'm just giving you a clear understanding of this individual. So I knew this much about him because I had did an earlier story on it. I wouldn't have never known his name if it wasn't for the whole situation when Lil West Side couldn't hide itself. When I did that video, if you're not familiar with that video, go back and check that video out, and you get a clear understanding of how I know who Peaches is, because he was standing at the top of the rec yard after he got punched on, screaming, "Peaches, Peaches, I did it for you." That dude, this is Peaches, and Peaches was sitting in the cut when I had walked up. I don't know where I was. I probably was down there hollering at one of my partners or something. But I noted that Peaches slept in the TV room where we slept at. But like I said, I never paid him any attention. So when I walk in the cut, he's sitting on the bunk, and they sitting side by side. So at first I paid no attention because I'm saying it could be a business transaction for all I know, not on that side of the spectrum. I don't know what's going on. So I walk in the cut. When I walk in the cut, they're talking, they so engaged in whatever conversation they are having that they didn't give me the proper respect of letting me get to my locker. So I said, "Excuse me, let me get by." And now Ball, he looks up at me and then continue on. So now the thing is with me, and a lot of people who ever been locked up, is respect is big. Now, because you were sleeping in this cut before I was, you got, I ain't gonna say more say so, but you have a little bit more leeway than what naturally would happen if I had been in the cut. So Maybe he was taking it as this is my cut and you just guess here. But anytime I get moved into a bunk or a room or whatever, I might just be just not coming in though. But just like you have rules and things that you have expectation of how you expect the person to conduct themselves in that room or in that cut, that's fine. I get that. But I have the same thing. Immediately, when I'm walking in the cut, if you got some company, y'all need to goddamn make room for I can get by. Now, these cuts that I keep speaking of is not a large area. You know what I mean? It's not a large area. If you got a house, you got a bed that's sitting on the bed, you got two sides of your bed. Just imagine it's whatever the wall is at, that's another bunk right there. So that's what we call a cut. And then that cut is gonna be a locker box. And you got to push it in because now what you're saying is probably a yard and a half of area from one bunk to the next. So if I'm coming in there, if two people sitting across from each other, somebody gonna have to move, twist, get out the way. If the two people just sitting there in the cut and I'm trying to get to my locker, and by the fact that home is on the other side of that spectrum, I don't feel comfortable walking past him. Hey, excuse me, meaning, look, one of y'all need to move out the way. Or get up, handle whatever business he done handle after I get out my cut. He just looked at me act like he ain't paying me no attention. So I'm like, bro, you didn't hear what I said. I said, excuse me, huh? Let me through. Bow, he's like, hey man, let me through. I try to ignore it. I go to my locker, boom. I don't say nothing while the funny guy sitting there. So I just get what I need to get out my locker. I push on. But it's on my mind now because, you know, all this deep and smacking your teeth and deep breath like you have an issue with me going to my locker. Nah, fam, we ain't doing that. So later on, I go back to him and I push up on. I was like, yo, ball. I like to call the name too. Yo, ball. He like, like, what's up? So, man, what y'all got going on in the cut, folk? You know what I mean? When I come over here, man, I'm just trying to get to my locker. All that smacking your teeth, breathing hard, fam. I don't give a fuck about none of that, homeboy. He like, man, what you talking about, man? Nah, man, I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to handle some business and stuff like that. And, you know, my mind, I feel you on all that, fam. But I'm trying to tell you, folk, that when I come in the cut, whoever's sitting in this cut with you, you know what I'm saying? He's small, folk. I just need to get by. And by home being who he is, I don't feel comfortable him coming in the cut already. But I ain't gonna respect it because, you know, whatever business y'all got going on, man. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not thinking that home is on some fugazi bullshit. Until it was the dude who slept in the TV room who slept in the same cut with the funny guy, came to me and said, man, after, I'm talking about immediately, because you know people in prison always. You got people that be nosy or paying attention to what's going on around them. He came to me a little bit after, like, yo, man, you know, I don't be goddamn. He's coming my cut. I told him, nigga, can't come in here, man. You got to watch it, man, because I think him and old boy got something going on. I said, I appreciate the heads up. You know what I mean? I said, yeah, man. Shit, I thought you finna slap shit out that nigga. How you looking? I said, nah, I ain't gonna do nothing to him like that, man. But this was a thought. It was a thought. You ain't got too many time to smack your teeth and do that. You know what I mean? And time goes on, man. Like I said, he was running up his little thing, he had a little business. But he had this dude that he used to run with, this big tall dude. He really insignificant to the story. But this just to show you how his mindset was. He don't know me. He don't know nothing about me. He probably just seen me around the camp. You know what I mean? And how I move and my demeanor might throw people off. Also, it might be the fact that when I was in Ingram Building the first time, I ended up moving out that same dormitory and going to Holly C Hall, which was the honor dorm, because I wanted to do my time as peaceful as possible. Because I was coming up for parole. Now that I don't got set off, but I still got to play through the parole board trying to do like, you know what I mean? I got a lawyer trying to help me get out of prison. So all this is going on at the same time. And this is significant to the story because this will let you know what my mindset was. Now, I already got sat off. These folks tell me I got to do 20 years. You know what I'm saying? I already at my 15. I'm coming up on my 15th year. So I'm looking at, I got another whole 5, 6 more years before I got to be in here. I'm tired, bro. I am tired. I am tired of prison. I'm tired of dealing with people. I am tired. My mentality is now is borderline crashing out to trying to figure out, should I just chill and let, you know what I mean, the cards lay where they lay and whatever, you know what I mean? So how I'm dealing with him then is not as aggressive as I would have dealt with him years prior. So I give him a little leeway, but like I said, he don't know me, so I guess he's thinking I'm soft. What's going on with me, he don't know. You know what I mean? I guess the way that I look, I don't know, the way that I talk, the way that I carry myself, the way that I always keep a smile on my face. People will take that as a softness, but this is how I deal with the monster in my head. And in this story, you're going to understand how this works with me. So I come in the cut one day, this tall dude that used to, he was a nice sized fella. He's probably bigger than me. You know what I mean? About around my same size, because I was on my little workout thing then, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get the guns up. But anyway, I walk in the goddamn cut this day, they sitting across from each other talking. Peach is standing on the outside of the cut. So when I walk up, and I look, and the dude Peaches said, let me go ahead and leave. And he walks off. And Ball was talking about, man, you ain't got to leave, man. You know what I mean? Strike two, you trying me again, home. You know what I mean? Because now you throwing some shit out there like, hey, home ain't talking about that. So big dude sitting in the cut, so I'm like, yo, excuse me, let me get by. And big dude got his feet kicked out. You know what I mean? I wish y'all could see how I got my feet, but he got it kicked out like I had to step over his foot to get by. So I like, hey man, excuse me, man. He looked at me like and kept talking. So I kicked his foot. Boom. The shit out of it too. Boom. Like his foot like, man, what the fuck you doing? I said, come on, nigga. Get your bitch ass up, boy. And he like, whoa. He said, I ain't on that type of time, for. I'm just trying to figure out why you kicked my foot, man. It's because I said, excuse me, man. Y'all nigga act like I don't live in this cut, my nigga. You and this fat fucker, man. Y'all nigga go quit fucking playing with me, my boy. You know what I mean? For real. Big dude get up, and he's standing up. I guess he's trying to size me up. I'm like, man, look, I always give you this. I'm going to give you this. I'm going to step back, and I'm going to do this. If you come within a centimeter, a step toward my hand being out at you like this, I'm talking about, I got these, you see what I'm doing. I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you, man. That's what I'm thinking in my head. Cause I'm like, okay, this is what's going on. He was like, he looking around like it was a cat, you know what I mean? R.I.P. and I'm gonna call his name, and the ones who helped follow the channel who did time, it was a dude named Joker, man. Joker walks up in the cut. He was in the ALTO with me. You know what I mean? R.I.P. that boy Joker, man. Much love to that brother, man. I ain't lying, man. Let me do. But he walk up. He like, man, D, what's up, huh? What's wrong with these folks, man? You know what I mean? Shit, buddy, you must don't know who this is. You know what I mean? They don't know your whole wife. You have to put one of these niggas to sleep like that. And I'm like, man, I don't know what's wrong with these folks, man. Dude, all the aggression comes up out of him because he knows Joker. You know what I mean? But he don't know me. They don't even know that I had that ALTO. They don't know nothing about me. Now, me being the ALTO don't make me a bad person. Meaning, like, I'm not a hog, a thugged out hitter, but by a dude from ALTO knowing who I am and speaking on my name highly, and everybody know ALTO was an ultra aggressive prison, and the stigma that goes on with everybody who ever been to ALTO, meaning like as far as like the fighting and all that, it kind of makes you take some aggression up out of you because, okay, if this dude's speaking on him like that, and all the other dudes from ALTO know this dude that who's speaking on Buddy, maybe I need to take a step back. So he was like, oh, my bad, fool. He said, man, just let me out the cut, my bad, fool. You know, you did that right. He come out the cut. And I'm looking at Ball. Ball sits there sitting on the bed. Now he gonna make eye contact. So I go in my locker, get my stuff. You know what I mean? Bounce up out of there. You know what I mean? Side note, big dude come back to me, tell me, man, I didn't know you been out there. My cousin was down there, man. You know these dudes, such, and all that, and third, man, bullshit. I don't want to hear that, man. You know what I mean? Because right now, you an enemy too. But I was like, I entertain bullshit for 5 seconds. You got 10 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds worth of goddamn fame with me. I'm going to listen to what you got to say. And I sat there and listened to him, man. You know what I mean? But anyway, that kind of showed up splinter our even in opportunity. That's what made me get him on all the way on the spectrum. I do not like this spectrum. The final and broke and straw that broke the back or the count was sitting in the bed one day, sleep in the TV room. And you sleep whenever you can. If it get quiet in one of them lazy days, the TV. It was before count, before they didn't turn TVs on, so a lot of time it'd be kind of quiet. It was before count, so I'm laying on my bunk and I'm about half asleep. No, time out. Scratch that, because it wasn't before count. I am tripping. It was that night. TV off. I'm laying in the bed, sleep. People move around in prison all times of night. They open dormitory just as they did in the ALTO. I'm laying in the bed, I'm asleep, and I hear the bed. You know what I mean? I'm gonna shake this. This is what's going on with the bed, but it'll stop for a second. Then it go, and I stop for a second, so it wakes me up because I sleep very light, especially in an open dormitory like this. So I wake up like pull my skull cap up because you sleep with a skull cap on. It's a forced habit that you built up when you first went into prison, especially in the ALTO, because people were hitting people in the head with locks. But anyway, I pull up my skull cap. I look to see what's going on. So what I see is a big dude sitting. The tall dude, he's sitting on the edge of the bunk across from where our bunk is. I see him. Then once I do that, I peek over to my bed. That's how I peek over. I see a towel like half the way the bed, and there's another towel that's blocking the front view. Now I'm starting to start paying attention. My eyes start to focus, and I see another tent on the opposite bunk, sitting over, hanging over like that. Now, the dude who supposed to slept in the bunk right there, he's not in his bunk. I don't know where he at. I don't know if him and Big Dude switched out for the night, because people would do that. But yeah, he's not in his bunk. And Ball is laid back on the bed where the tent is blocking his body, his lower part of his body, but I can see him laying back on the bed. And what I see then was a pair of feet hanging out the side, like the back of the bunk. And now I keep peeking. As I look, I see Peaches bobblehead ass in the middle of the man's body. And I'm like, man, what the hell? I hit the bottom of the bunk. I said, what the hell y'all nigga doing? Peaches jump up, and he jumps up, and he stands up real fast. I jump down off the bunk. Boom. When I jump down off the bunk, I don't say nothing. I go to grabbing my boots, put my boots on. Buddy, tall dude, he stands up, and he bags out the cut. Say, hey, man, I ain't got nothing to do with that, man. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Like that. I start snatching the towels down and throwing the goddamn towels on the floor and stuff like that. Ball something that trying to adjust itself. So, man, goddamn, man. They got me in nigga bending, man. You know, trying to get straight. I said, listen, folks. I asked you nicely, my nigga, to keep shit away at this cut. I said, maybe I didn't make myself clear enough. Look here. I said, buddy, I didn't say it that night. I said, buddy, can't come in the cut no more, man. He said, man, that man in my cut too. I can have whoever. I said, fuck, nigga. Ain't nobody coming in the cut that do that type of activity. You want to do that bullshit, you can do that shit in the bathroom, huh? This is my first and my last time having this conversation with you. The next time I have to have this conversation with you, Goddamn, it'll be while you on the medical floor, or we in the hole, or wherever, huh? Straight up. I ain't gonna talk to you about it, none of that. This is not a threat. I promise you, this is a warning. This is my last warning I'm gonna give you. You know what I'm saying? Now, you probably asking like, D, why you didn't just switch out the room, switch out bunks with him? Well, the problem was with that is that who wants to come sleep in the TV room? Who wants to come sleep in the TV room? Where I slept at, ain't nobody gonna switch out right there because that's the worst area. That's the most high traffic because there were people coming in and out the TV room. So people sleeping in the TV room ain't gonna want to switch out with you in the TV room. And anybody who ain't sleeping in the TV room most definitely ain't gonna switch out with you to come to the TV room. I don't care how much money you try to pay them. So I'm stuck like Chuck, you know what I mean? Until a bunk come open and I can goddamn probably holler at one of the officers and try to get moved to it. But how they do it is they do it by seniority. They give you an opportunity to move to a better place in the dormitory if you've been in there long enough. So when I had said that with Buddy, and we had a lot done, it wasn't a standoff. I ain't gonna lie to you, because he just sat there and just listened to what I said. And he stopped. Then this happened. It's like 4 in the morning, man. I never forget, 4 o'clock in the morning. All the time that I ever had been locked up in prison, I had never experienced this. And I didn't, you hear about it. I never knew that this really happened. When I was in ALTO, how they did shakedowns and stuff like this wasn't nothing to the extent of how they did this here. 4 o'clock in the morning. Boom! Get up out your bunk, get out your bunk, scared the dog shit out of me. I haven't heard that screaming and yelling since diagnosis that early in the damn morning. The lights come on. If anybody ever been in prison, when the lights come on in prison, you can hear like a buzzing sound. Like that, especially if it's dead quiet. A lot of times you won't hear it until you like in a 2-man, well, in the hole or something like that, when they control when the lights come on and off. You can't cut them on and off yourself. It's like a buzzing sound. And everybody go to jumping up. They yell, get your hands up. Get up out the bunk. Get out the bunk. Get up. You know what I mean? Get in your Boston t-shirts. And all this stuff like that. So I'm sitting there stuck on stupid trying to focus on what's going on. Because the first thing that comes to my mind, protect yourself. Because I don't know what's going on. They make everybody get off the bunks and everything and put their hands up. So what they was doing, if you like in the cut, they were trying to tell like one stay in the cut, one come out the cut instead of both of y'all, but y'all won't be doing no funny movement. So I jumped down first. Boom. Ball is sitting his big fat ass sitting up there looking at me talking about, hey, Bunkmate, if you don't mind, man, let me stay in the cut. I don't even acknowledge him. I wasn't going to stay in the cut any damn way. So I walk out and go, it's like a long podium. You have to stand up there and put your hands up on that. And they tell you, put your hands up, put your forehead like that. Now, I wasn't going to put my forehead to it, but I did put my hands up like this, But at the position in that I was standing there, I was making sure that I keep an eye on the fat man because I don't know what he got going on. Now, when he he jumps up, he's standing there, he goes looking around, looking up, all spooked and shit. So I'm trying to watch his hand to make sure that he has nothing in his hand. He trying to stick up under my bunk. I promise you, I'm just going to foul him. That's what I had in my mind. If he would try to set me up on some shit like that. So he goes in his locker while the police is shaking down. He go in his locker. He grabs something out of his locker. The police is looking at him while he's trying to do this movement. Now, he's a big human being. He's nothing fast and quick about him. It ain't going to be like, I'm going to make it happen real fast. No, he was moving. In his mind, he probably was moving at supersonic goddamn speed. But in reality, man, you was moving slow as hell. That's how fast he was moving. And he was grabbing this stuff out the locker. Police looking at him. I see what he's doing. Of course, I'm watching him. Not because I got an investment in what he got going on, because only thing I'm saying, you are my bunkmate. Don't put that shit up under my mattress. I'm going to foul you. You know what I mean? But he didn't do that. He grabbed it and he threw it behind the locker. The police watching them do this whole thing that I was just saying. The officer stopped doing what he was doing, which he was shaking down somebody else. Walk back there, go to looking. He looking. He finds what he's looking for, which is what Fat Boy throw back there. Ball throw back there. He go back there and get it. Just like it wasn't like this is most cool shit I ever seen in my life. I got it, boss. I got it, boss, man. I got it. Like he had struck. Like he just he don't hit for goddamn the biggest drug shipment that ever came through Frank Scott State Prison. He said how he jumping up and down, happy about this, man. And before I get to this part here, man, because this is hilarious, man. Before I get to this part, I'll double back on it, man. I'll double back. Was it on that shakedown or was it on another? It was on another shakedown. I'll tell y'all this story right there. That was the most hilarious shit that I ever seen in my life. It was funny then, but it wasn't funny at the end. But anyway, we got to end up while I'm standing there with my hand up like this, and the dude jumping up and down with the drugs in the hand, like he don't the biggest shipment in Frank Scott drug in state prison history. The assistant warden said, the deputy warden of security said, lock him down. Lock that dude down. Because he asked himself, who was it? He called Ball's name. He said, I seen him throw it. He said, lock his ass down. And get it down, bunkmate too. I said, whoa, wait a minute. What you mean? And so now they talking about who's sleeping in their bunk. Who's sleeping in their bunk? At first, I wasn't going to say that, man. I ain't going to lie. It was also who knew, man, said, man, see, when I came out, he sleeping in the bunk. I'm just standing there like, shit, you can't be talking about me. Ooh, I ain't got nothing to do with none of it. So they come over there. They put up both his handcuffs and had us standing on the wall and stuff, man. So when we standing on the wall, I'm telling Boss, like, yo, bro, be 21. You feel me? And, 21 mean be grown, man. Own up to your bullshit. I ain't got nothing to do with this, man. You know what I mean? Free me, my boy. Don't do me like that. You know what I'm saying? He keeps standing there acting like he ain't heard nothing I said. I said, hey, my nigga, be 21, folks. The phone know what's happening, man. I ain't got shit to do with that. You know what I mean? He's like, man, I got you. I said, nah, you need to go and do that shit right now, folks. You know what I mean? Because shit, the ID come, my boy. I'm trying to make parole, folks. He like to him say, man, I got you, man. They started making us move, go downstairs stuff. So I'm handcuffed behind him. I'm behind my back. Now my hands behind my back. You know what I mean? I'm stuck. You know what I'm saying? I can't do nothing to him, really. You know what I mean? Maybe a hit, but bite him on the back of the neck. I won't bite him, though. I don't bite him. Not what I seen. No such kid. Won't happen to me. But anyway, man, we walking down the step, man. So I tell him again, I said, hey, man, we're going to be 21, folks. You know what I mean? Before we get down here to the goddamn hole, because once you get in the threshold of the hole, as long as I had been locked up, I never seen them goddamn reverse course. You feel me? So once you down there, you down there. So he was like, man, I said I got you. And that did it. That did it for me. I went to goddamn like I'm trying to break out, like Superman trying to break out the handcuffs, man. I'm like, I said, hey, don't even worry about it, folks. Don't even tell them folks that. I got something for it. You know what I mean? Then I told the police. Now, first I told him, I said, you better hope these folks transfer me, man. I'll transfer you. I'm telling you now. You know what I mean? So I turned around and told the police, like, hey, officer. So the officer was like, what's up? So, man, look, be quiet, man. Talk. I said, nah, man, I'm gonna be 100, man. That's my shit. Like that. And the officer that I'm talking to is actually the officer who seen the whole transaction and everything got done happen. He was like, nah, I seen who did it. I'm thinking to myself, but why the fuck you didn't tell the deputy warden of security when you got done seen Buddy do it? Why you didn't say, no, it was him? No, you didn't do none of that. You just following whatever instruction you were given with your coon name. So I'm like, no, that's mine, folks. That's mine. I said, go ahead and let him go. Like that. And the dude looking at me like that, like, damn, the hell, why you saying that? I said, nah, just let Jig go ahead, keep that. It's straight. It's straight. Now I look at him, I said, you a bitch ass nigga, boy. You know what's happening? And they took it in the holding cell. So my homeboy, who they had roped off into, he was right across from me. When I say my homeboy, we was from the street. We knew each other on the street. You know what I mean? But we was from Robert Hood. So, but me and him never had no bad blood. As far as that, he was yelling like, yo, homeboy, he said, man, chill. So home. He probably keep it silent. Plus, police seen who did what, man. Just keep it, man. You can beat that coat sheet. I said, man, fuck all of that, man. I ain't studying none of that you talking about, folks. You know what I mean? And I got quiet. See, early in the video, I was telling you about how my mind works. It don't work like this no more. Let's be clear. My mind do not work like that. See, I don't know nothing about how this goes. I went to prison when I was 18 years old. My understanding is that if you catch another charge, because that's what they be doing, they were charging people for the drugs in prison at this point in time. If you catch another charge, that you would never get out of prison, because I had like a life sentence. So I'm like, it's over with now. All the little play that I thought I had, now it's over with, because I'm finna catch a whole nother charge for some shit I ain't do. You know what I mean? And I spared a dude who told on the last case that I had caught. I'm not sparing anybody else in my life, period. I said, when I come out the hole, I'm going to unalive Bob. That's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to take him out. He got to go. I'm going to get rid of him. This is what's going through my mind. I'm going to get rid of him. I'm going to go high max for like 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Then when I come out high max, then I'm going to go back across the yard. And then if I run across somebody that I felt like I let slide or anybody get small with, I'm going to take them out too. You know what I mean? And I know for a fact then they'll start talking about giving me the penalty. If that don't work, then I just have to keep on doing it until they got to get rid of me. You know what I mean? And take me out, unalive me. That's what my thought process was. I had all this planned out. In my mind, this is what I'm thinking. I'm sitting back chilling. You know what I mean? While them dude hollering like, man, you tripping. I said, man, look, folks, it over with. When I come out the hole, it over with, fat boy, man. You know what I mean? They don't transfer one of us. It's over with. I don't even want to talk about it. I'm not knowing fat boy hearing this all of this. And it was another dude that was actually in the hole already that knew me from ALTO. He was like, man, they D down there. I said, yeah, man, the folk done got done trying to rope your bar. I'm talking about got done some drugs or something. So, man, that's some bullshit, folk. You know what I mean? You been chilling. Because I haven't smoked weed green since 2004. At this point in time was the last time I smoked with my little man in ALTO. That's the last time I smoked. I had came up in my mind that I ain't gonna do nothing that got gonna stop me from trying to get out of prison. And then this shit happened. So I already said, man, it's over with for better, man. So we sitting about like another 30 minutes. And then the police come back. He popped it like here. He called my name. I'm like, what's up? What cell I'm going to? That's what I'm thinking. He finna put me in the cell. Like, nah, man, come on. You know what I mean? You going downstairs. So they took me downstairs. I said, look, folks, I ain't writing no statement. This is, man, nah, we're going to do a urinalysis on you to make sure that you ain't got no piss and dirty. So I did the drug test. After I did the drug test, we talked to, I had to talk to the lieutenant. And the lieutenant was laughing. Talking about, because he was the one that said, let me go. I did not know, because he wasn't in the same holding cell that we was in. And he was somewhere else. And he was like, man, that man was beating on the door, man. He said he heard you tell me you gonna unalive him when you come out the hole. Like, he laughing about it like that. And he was talking about, what see it. You know what I mean? Look, we're gonna have to transfer one of them, man. And I just told him, like, man, you transferring nobody, man. You stuck him, man. When that man see you, that was gonna happen to you unless you own up to it. And he said, I didn't have nothing to do with it. And he tried to blame it on some other dude in the dormitory. But he took my name all the way out of it. But then the lieutenant said, this is the first time I ever heard. Cause he called his name. All these police officers know it. You know what I mean? They say they know for a fact, you know, that he'll snitch. That should be 100 with. You know what I mean? That he'll tell information to keep himself free. And you know what I mean? Because you try to explain to the lieutenant. Don't tell these folks open up the dock. They don't care. That's the crazy thing is about prison is. These people be running around snitching and stuff like that. These folks hate you worse than the people that you're telling on. Because they feel like you have no honor. You have no codes of ethics. The only thing you're thinking about your own personal gain. A lot of time, not all the time. Now, as long as you've been carrying that narrative that I will tell something, but if you trying to do dirt too, they don't respect that. You know what I mean? Because they know you just doing that just to keep yourself clean. You know what I mean? Now, if you just all out righteous snitch, a lot of times they rock with you. They'll keep you protected. But if you going in there with that whole, I'm going to snitch on you just as long as it allow me to do my dirt, nah, they'll sit down, they'll throw you under the bus. And that's what he was telling me, like, man, he be coming down here trying to tell for like, man, shit, you better own up. He said, man, I ain't never heard somebody say that man boss was like, man, come on, man. Man, well, he didn't have nothing to do with it. I'm telling you that now. You see where me and him wasn't cool like that, you know what I mean? But I seen who told it. That's what he was trying to do that. But they let me out the hole, man. But that's crazy though, man. That's what happened in prison, man. Those type of incidents and problems and situations comes your way. Being in there, man. I went from having a sliver of hope of maybe getting out of prison one day to all of a sudden about to be stuck in prison for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Because of some choice and decision of someone else. But ultimately, if I look back and in hindsight, in retrospect, and think about it, I wouldn't have never been in that situation. In the first place, I had to do one thing and just stayed out of prison. Don't make the same mistakes I did, man. Till the next time, man, the homie Big D. Like, subscribe, share. One love.